I don't think people understand how much money you can actually make if you run a pressure washing business like a business and not a side hustle. And I know that everyone, regardless of where you are in your business, has the same fundamental questions, and that is, how do I get more jobs? So in this video, we are going to break down 8 ways to do this. And we are going to do this a little bit differently because there are 2 distinct groups of people watching this. And it's important that you guys identify who you are. Are you a struggler or are you an overachiever? Before we figure out which one you are, if you stay until the end of this video, I am going to share with you one of the best ways that I've found that gets us a ton of leads and a bunch of jobs. Okay, so these are the 2 types of people, and I want you to be honest with yourself, and I want you to hold yourself accountable, and I'm going to hold you accountable too. So in the comment section below, I want you to tell me which one you think that you are. The first is the strugglers. Now, these are the guys who may be new to the business and they're still building their customer base and struggling week after week to stay busy, to book jobs, and just to make ends meet. But not all strugglers are new to the business either. There are some folks that just can't figure out how to move on from this stage. The next one is the overachievers. Now, these are folks who are already pretty successful. They have customers and they have a pretty good book of business. The schedule is pretty steady, but they're still overwhelmed and exhausted from all of the work and still constantly worried about not having enough business, or I guess of the better way to say it would be having consistent business. So why is this distinction important? Well, because they both need customers, but their challenges are different. So I'm going to break down 4 ways for each of these types of business owners to get exactly what it is that they need. So the first group, they need customers right now. They need to schedule jobs and get paid today. So we're going to focus on 4 short-term strategies for the quickest results. Now, these are in no particular order, but I want you to understand that the most important thing is that consistency is key and volume is king. I just recently had a guy tell me that things weren't going well in his new business, and he was thinking about quitting because he knocked on doors for 5 days and only got a few jobs. Now, if you have this kind of attitude, stop watching now. Please go apply for a job somewhere because you're never going to make it on your own. With that out of the way, let's talk about the short-term strategies, the short game. And the first one that we're going to talk about is door knocking. And yeah, this can be pretty intimidating, right? The amount of no's is going to be way higher than the number of yeses, but it's one of the quickest ways for you to start getting jobs. And notice I didn't say the best way to get long-term customers because I honestly don't think that this is really the best way to go about doing that. That is for an entirely different video, and I will make that for you guys. And I understand you may be apprehensive about this, so you need to start small, knock on your current customers' neighbors' doors, and then work your way around. It's kind of like an in-person 5-around, which brings us to the next strategy, which is utilizing flyers and postcards. And again, you have to understand that 20 postcards ain't going to cut it. It's like knocking on doors for 5 days. You're going to need to do at least 1,000 or even more. The more you do, the more chances you have for landing more jobs. So you also want to think strategically and tactically. Is that a word? Yes. Begin with the neighborhoods where you've had success before. There are likely more potential clients in those neighborhoods. And then you use your postcards, your flyers, or even business cards in conjunction with the door knocking, because if no one answers the door, this is going to give you a second chance to get your name, to get your business in front of those people. And I would also suggest that you jot down some prices, maybe on the back of the postcard or on a sticky note, so they have an idea of what it might cost, and it also gives a little bit more personal touch. The next one is bandit signs and yard signs. And I know there are lots of opinions on this, but I also know from personal experience that these things really work. And it's most likely not going to generate the leads from your ideal customers that you want, but it will generate leads. And that is what you need if you're struggling to make money right now. So go get 100 yard signs made, get 50 made, whatever you can afford, and strategically place them in high traffic areas where you can get as many eyeballs on them before they get ripped down by a Karen or your competition. And also ask every customer you have if you can leave a sign in their yard. Okay, so we talked about bandit signs, yard signs. I'm going to talk more about signs or signage, I guess, and that's on your truck and your trailer if you have one. And this doesn't have to be crazy expensive. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but you need to have a way for customers to get your contact information really easily. Your name, your number, your website, these are the critical pieces of information that they need. And I would also suggest using yard signs or maybe an A-frame sign, which are a little bit more professional, but you need these at every job. So when you're on the job, people driving by or walking by, they can easily see what you're doing, who you are, your contact information. They can take a pic with their phone, save it for later when they need your services if they don't call and schedule it now. Okay, so now that we've covered the quick and the dirty methods for getting immediate results, let's shift gears and look look at longer term strategies for attracting high quality and high paying customers. So we talked about signage. Now let's take it a step further, and we're going to talk about truck wraps. And if you've heard me talk about this before, you know that I've never personally done truck wraps. I like the simplicity of my branding, but I also know that there is a large number of small business owners that swear by their wraps. So as your business grows, I want you to think about investing in a high quality truck wrap. And I say as your business grows because these wraps, they can get pretty expensive, upwards of $3,000 and even more in some cases. But you have to get past that initial cost, and you need to look at the long-term ROI, right? What this investment is going to bring back to you. This is a rolling billboard that tens of thousands of people are going to see for the lifetime of that vehicle rolling around. So something to think about. Now, the next one is referrals. And these are crucial for small businesses because they provide a steady stream of new leads that are basically free. Because when your customers refer their friends and their family, this is a powerful personal endorsement for your business. And this is something that is absolutely priceless. And referrals oftentimes lead to long-term relationships with higher customer loyalty, which means the lifetime value of your customers is going to go up significantly. And always ask them to post recommendations for your business in their community Facebook groups, on their Nextdoor page, wherever they're involved with their community, because this can really help you. Now, the next one should go without saying, but you need to get as many Google reviews as you can possibly get, because building trust is one of the most important things for a business. And this is an easy way to do this because social proofing is absolutely unbeatable. You need to ask every customer and basically anybody that you know for a 5-star Google review. Don't be scared to ask, because if you don't ask, you're not going to get them. And we need those reviews to build that trust, to build that credibility in our markets. Which brings us to basically what you're watching right now, which is social media. You don't necessarily need a YouTube page like this, but you do need to have an online presence to build trust with your audience. You need to share before and after photos, client testimonials, pictures of the jobs that you're working on, pictures of you working. It doesn't take a lot of time, a couple minutes a day, but do this everywhere. And the primary place that you should be doing this is on your Google business profile page. That's the most important. So the next one is something that can really help your business grow. And this is through strategic partnerships with other home service professionals in your area. And I want you to ask yourself, how many times have you had customers ask you for referrals for other services that you don't provide? Now, I get asked this all the time, and I normally have a solid recommendation for them, pretty much for anyone that they ask for. And I ask them to tell the other contractor that I told them about them. But I'm also going to text the other contractor. I'm going to give them the customer's contact information so they know, first off, that I referred them, and then they can reach out and make first contact, because that's just a good look. It makes me look good as well. So find these people that you trust to do good work, refer them, and you're going to be amazed at how many referrals that you get back in return. So these strategies are a pretty simple roadmap for success in your business. And remember that it doesn't happen overnight, but if you do need an instant boost, try the first 4 strategies, and don't forget that this is a numbers game, right? The more you put in, the more you get out. And as I promised, I am going to share with you one great strategy that has generated a tremendous amount of business for me, and that is using QR codes on our signage, the trucks, the trailers, especially the A-frames and the yard signs that you put out in front of the properties that you're working on. You never want to lose a lead, and you always want to be able to follow up with potential customers. So I have QR codes everywhere. Now, mine take the customer directly to my website, where they go to InstaQuote, that's powered by Quote IQ. And this allows them to not only quickly fill out all of their contact information, so I have that so I can follow up, but it also gets them a super fast, a super easy quote. This is basically speed to the lead in the purest sense of the word, right? Instant gratification for them. They want a price, they got it, and now they can schedule, or they can save it for later. But believe me, I am going to be following up with these people through my email automation, through my text automation. And you can also send them to a contact form or just your website. But in my business, InstaQuote has, just changed the game. So that is it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.